Hi, this is Day Shift with Jeff Kober. This is from Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj. In death, only the body dies. Life does not, consciousness does not, reality does not. And the life is never so alive as after death. What was born must die, only the unborn is deathless. Find what is it that never sleeps and never wakes, and whose pale reflection is our sense of I. And the life is never so alive as after death. That doesn't make sense from the perspective of the ego. From the perspective of the ego, this is life. There is nothing other than this. There is nothing beyond this. Those of us who have spent any time meditating know how desperately the ego does not want us to transcend it. It fights us when we simply want to let go and simply settle into an experience of being. Imagine how much more desperately it fights when we take on the concept of death. It doesn't want to die. It cannot let itself die, and it insists on never even thinking about death. Just the fact that I'm talking about it here goes against almost everything that we have in our culture concerning death. It's not something to be talked about. It's something to be ignored. It's something to be put off for as long as possible, and then maybe at the very end, if we have to, we'll take a look at it and see how we're going to walk through it. Up until then, a lot of the time we just pretend it's not there, or pretend that death certainly happens, but it's never going to happen to me. The truth is, life is energy. Life cannot be created nor destroyed. There is this experience of me. But this experience of me was going on before this body came into existence. It's happening as this body exists. And it continues when this body falls away. It's a given that the life of me cannot go away. The body is dying all the time. We're losing skin cells all the time. Our organs are replacing themselves constantly. Even our bones and teeth are completely different than they were 7 years ago. This body is dying and replenishing itself and dying and replenishing itself constantly. And yet there's something in me that remembers being 6 years old and sitting next to a stream and listening to the water flow by and being comforted by it. There's something in me that remembers being on the hood of a car during the homecoming parade when I was 16 years old. There's something in me that remembers getting married and remembers getting divorced. There's something in me that was looking through these eyes that was the same at 6, was the same at 16, was the same at 35, is the same today. That is the truth of me. My job, as I understand it, is to get in touch with that truth of me, to know myself as that truth, so that I can begin to have the experience that I'm meant to have here, which is this part of me that is changing all the time. I want to allow it to change in the direction of evolution. I want it to grow in my ability to take on life, to offer to life, to offer of myself to life. And I want to live this life fully right up until the very moment before life drops this body and moves on to whatever comes next. It's really the most perfect design for living I can imagine. And it's right here for the taking. I let myself know that this is temporary, that there's work to be done, and that I'm the one who's meant to be doing it. And that work has to do with love, and that work has to do with life and offering that life wherever I can. Today I will imagine what life would feel like if I could be free of suffering, free of fear, free of death and free of the fear of death. I will ask of myself to imagine joy everlasting and I will seek to feel some small part of it in my day and to offer that small part of it to someone else. Thanks so much for listening. Have a beautiful day.